Senate will come to order. All those not having privileges of the floor will please vacate the chamber. Those in the gallery and those on the floor will please rise as we're led in prayer by Pastor Tim Watering of the Mission Take Back Ministries in Brewston Mills, West Virginia. Please remain standing after the prayer as the senator from Pleasants leads us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, Lord, it's with a humble heart that I bow before you this day. And Father, first and foremost, we just give you all the honor and glory and praise that's due only to you. And Father, we thank you for the many blessings that you pour upon our lives each and every day. We thank you for the gift of this day and for the gift of this moment to be able to assemble here in the Capitol in the greatest state in the land. So Father, this day I just lift up all of our legislators, our governor, his staff, and Father, I just pray that they would seek you for wisdom and knowledge and give them the strength and the courage that as they legislate, they would do so with righteousness and that they would make decisions that would bring honor and glorify your name. But Lord, I also lift up our military. I lift up all of those that are on the front line this day, and I just pray, Father, that you would place your hand of protection upon them and just lead, guide, and direct them. Father, I pray for our state and ask that you would just pour out your healing power upon our land. But Lord, most of all, we just thank you. We thank you for Jesus. We thank you for the cross. And God, I just thank you that you've never given up on us, but that instead you would show us the ultimate act of love by sending Jesus to take our place upon a criminal's cross. And the fact that you call us your sons, you call us your daughters, a child of the Most High God. Father, may we never take that for granted, but instead live a life that brings honor and glory only to thee. Father, I love you and I praise you with all that I am. In Jesus' name I pray, and amen.
Amen. Thank you. Senator from Pleasants.
Would those in the gallery and those on the floor join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading of the Journal.
West Virginia Legislature Senate Journal, February 2nd, 2022. The Senate met at 11:01 a.m. Senator Blair, Mr. President, in the chair.
Senator from Monongalia requests unanimous consent for further reading of the journals dispensed with and the journals approved. Is there objection? Chair hears none. Further reading of the journals dispensed with and the journals approved. Introduction of guest. On behalf of the Senate, it is my pleasure to welcome our honorary pages for the day. Please stand to be recognized as your name is called. As guest is the senior senator from the 6th, J.C. Atkins and J. Pomeroy. As guest is the senior senator from the 8th, Alexandra Warren, Emma Flannery, and Kel Taylor. As guest is the senator of Randolph, Seth Carnes. Will the Senate please make them welcome? Further introductions. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Senate, it is your honor and mine to represent or introduce our doc of the day. In the rear of the chamber, today we have with us Dr. Ben Silverberg. He's MD from Morgantown, West Virginia. If you wouldn't mind standing, let the Senate give you a warm welcome.
Senator from Monongalia.
Thank you, Mr. President. With us today, attending session virtually, and on behalf of the Senator from Marion County, we have Beverly Kerr, who is a member of the AARP in West Virginia here, and she's on the part of the advocacy team. She's watching the legislative session remotely. The team advocates for issues that affect West Virginians who are 50 plus, and usually their redcoats are attending in sessions in person, but this year, obviously for COVID reasons, they are attending remotely. So if the Senate will please make her welcome. Thank you.
Senator from Preston.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's your pleasure and ours. On behalf of the Senator from Tucker County and myself, we would like to recognize some special guests in the North Gallery today from Preston County. First, I would ask for you to rise as I call you out, but I can't name everyone individually. There are so many. The students of Preston High, please stand up. They're the ones that provided the breakfast this morning for everyone, and I know that many of the legislators Many of the legislators during the year will ask, when's Preston County going to be back again? But also with us today are members of the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Authority, business leaders, farmers, and educators. Please all rise in the Senate and make them welcome.
Senator from Mason.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also in the North Gallery, I would like to welcome, we have some students from the University of Charleston School of Pharmacy. I would like the Senate to please make them feel welcome.
Senior Senator from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seated in the President's Gallery, we have the chaperone and the mother of our page, J.C. Aggins. Her name is Jennifer Aggins. Jennifer, please stand. And she's also chaperoning our page, Jay Pomeroy. And our two pages, Jay and J.C., I've seen them grow up over the years. I haven't seen them in a few years, and I can't believe how they've grown. Jennifer's dad was a long-time magistrate in Wayne County. His name was David, I'm drawing a blank. David Ferguson. So anyway, Senate, please join me and make Jennifer welcome.
Senior Senator from the 8th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today with us, seated in the President's Gallery, is our chaperones for our honorary pages. I would ask that they stand as I mention their name, but it's on your behalf and my junior senator's behalf. We have Debbie Young, Anna Taylor, and last, Mr. President, we have the Deputy Secretary and Chief of Staff for the Secretary of State's office and his wife, Chuck and Becky Flannery. If they would stand, and Senate, please make them welcome.
Further introductions. Pursuant to Special Rule of Order adopted on January the 18th, 2022, the chair announces that the senator from Jefferson has been approved to vote by proxy and has designated the senior senator from the 17th to vote in her behalf. And the senator from Tucker has been approved to vote by proxy and has designated the senior senator from the 17th to vote on his behalf. Communications from the House.
There are none.
Communications from the executive.
There are none.
Reports from standing committees.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration Senate Bill 6, establishing common law veil-piercing claims not be used to impose personal liability, and reports back a committee substitute for same, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass. Respectfully submitted, Charles S. Trump IV, Chair.
The report will be received.
Your Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development has had under consideration Senate Bill 242, restricting authority to prevent or limit owners' use of natural resources or real property in certain agricultural operations, and reports back a committee substitute for same, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass. Respectfully submitted, Dave Seipolt, Chair.
The report will be received.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration Senate Bill 245, revising wage payment and collection, and reports back a committee substitute for same, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass. Respectfully submitted, Charles S. Trump IV, Chair.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on Pensions has had under consideration Senate Bill 445, modifying police and firemen's pension plans for trustees, and reports back a committee substitute for same, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass. Respectfully submitted, Eric Nelson Jr., Chair.
Report will be received.
Your Committee on the Judiciary has had under consideration Senate Bill 472, relating to access to juvenile records by certain employees of Division of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and reports back a committee substitute for same, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass. Respectfully submitted, Charles S. Trump IV, Chair.
The report will be received.
Your Committee on Finance has had under consideration Senate Bill 487, relating to Revenue Shortfall Reserve Fund and Revenue Shortfall Reserve Fund Part B, and reports back a committee substitute for same, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass. Respectfully submitted, Eric J. Tarr, Chair.
The report will be received. Reports from select committees.
There are none.
Introduction of bills. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that Senate Bill 570 through Senate Bill 580 be considered introduced, read by their titles, and referred to the appropriate committees as shown on the chamber automation system.
Senior Senator from the 17th requests unanimous consent that Senate Bill 570 through Senate Bill 580 be considered introduced, read by their titles, and referred to the appropriate committees as shown on the chamber automation system. Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered. Resolutions.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 33 by Senators Lindsay, Jeffries, Nelson, and Takubo, naming the U.S. Army Sergeant Lewis M. Mike Totten Memorial Road.
Under the rules of the Senate, the resolution will lie over one day.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 34 by Senators Hamilton, Lindsay, and Romano, naming the U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Major Herman H. Bronner Memorial Bridge.
Under the rules of the Senate, the resolution will lie over one day.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 35 by Senator Maynard, naming the Ira Noon Copley and Marie Copley Memorial Bridge.
Under the rules of the Senate, the resolution will lie over one day.
Senate Resolution 18 by Senator Weld, designating February 7th, 2022 as Sexual Violence Awareness Day in West Virginia.
Under the rules of the Senate, the resolution will lie over one day. Motions. Petitions.
There are none.
Unfinished business.
Committee substitute for Senate Concurrent Resolution 17, naming the U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant Logan A. Young Memorial Bridge.
Question is on adoption of the resolution. Is there discussion? If not, question is on adoption of the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the resolution adopted. The clerk will communicate the actions of the Senate to the House.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 21, naming the Putnam County Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Question is on adoption of the resolution. Is there discussion? Junior or Senior Senator from the 8th.
Thank you, Mr. President. If this body would indulge me just for a moment, I'd like to speak about the veterans in Putnam County. I think statewide there's like 140-some thousand veterans in the state of West Virginia. But in Putnam County, it's a home of approximately over 4,000 veterans. They range from the Korean War all the way to the war in Afghanistan. They make up about 9% of the population in West Virginia. Putnam County is the home of 3 National Guard units, the 111th Engineering Brigade, the Support Maintenance Company, the B Troop 1st of the 150th Armor, and also is the home of the U.S. Naval Reserve Center. Mr. President, many of our guardsmen and women and naval reservists are veterans of the Gulf War, wars in Iraq and in Afghanistan. Mr. President, many of our veterans, when they return home, they continue to serve in our community. Especially here in Putnam County, we have our first responders, our sheriff of Putnam County, and other elected officials. Putnam County veterans, they also continue to serve in their communities. Putnam County veterans, continue to serve in their communities with other veterans at the American Legion, Marine Corps League, and veterans of foreign wars veterans organizations. The American Legion has about 231 members. Our VFW post has about 150 members. And our Marine Corps League, which is just established in 2020, now has 27 members. Mr. President, every day our veterans travel over this one bridge that I'm asking this body to approve. They pass over it, and I can't think of another bridge to name because it is right beside our county's war memorial. So what better way to show the state and our county, Putnam County, the gratitude, but to name this overpass in honor of all of our Putnam County veterans. Mr. President, I ask yeas for the passage of this resolution.
Is there further discussion? If not, the question is on adoption of the resolution. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the resolution adopted. The clerk will communicate the action of the Senate to the House.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 23, naming the U.S. Marine Corps Corporal Guy Maywood Edwards Memorial Bridge.
Question is on adoption of the resolution. Is there discussion? If not, the question is on adoption of the resolution. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the resolution adopted. The clerk will communicate the actions of the Senate to the House.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 29, naming the Nitro World War I Memorial Bridge.
Resolution will be referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 30, naming the McClintock Family Bridge.
Resolution will be referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 31, naming the U.S. Navy HM-3 Roy Elmer Duty Moon Bridge.
Resolution will be referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 32, naming the Curtis Papp and Millie Mammy Asbury Memorial Bridge.
Resolution will be referred to the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure.
Senate Resolution 4, urging the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers study clean energy production at Summersville Dam.
Question is on adoption of the resolution. Is there discussion? If not, the question is adoption of the resolution. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the resolution adopted.
Senate Resolution 17, designating February 3rd, 2022 as Preston County Day.
Senator from Preston.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that the resolution be taken up for immediate consideration, the committee references dispensed with, and the resolution be put upon its adoption.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. The clerk will read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 17, designating February 3rd, 2022 as Preston County Day at the Legislature.
Question is on adoption of the resolution. Is there discussion? Senator from Preston.
Thank you, Mr. President. Of course, we had an introduction earlier today about some of the folks that came down here to the Capitol to be with us. But I always like to say, and I would say this to anyone in the body, that it's easy to help those who are willing to help themselves. And there's no exception with Preston County here. They have a strong Chamber of Commerce. They have a strong local economic development authority. They have a strong senior program and a strong extension service. And we have community buy-in to almost every program that's laid before them. We have state and federal facility in Camp Dawson with thousands of troops trained annually. We have a West Virginia Challenge Academy with over 5,000 graduates to date. And in fact, just last week, we recognized William Farkas, who was the first graduate of the Challenge Academy to be accepted to West Point. And we're all very proud of him and his family. The resolution today was more about agriculture and forestry, which of course Preston County has been a leader for years and continues to be a leader in those areas. We do have the Preston County Education Center and the CTE program, which was the first program in the state recognized by the West Virginia State Department of Agriculture as a farm-to-school institution, where they're actually providing food for the cafeteria and for the students, and crowned the entire county. Mr. President, I urge adoption of Senate Resolution 17.
Is there further discussion? If not, the question is adoption of the resolution. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the resolution adopted. Bills on third reading.
Engrossed committee substitute for Senate Bill 227, requiring county boards of education and county superintendents to comply with instructions of State Board of Education.
Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our question unanimous consent that the bill be re-referred to the Committee on Education.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered.
Engrossed committee substitute for House Bill 4067 to make certain agency reports electronic or eliminating certain agency reports altogether. Third reading of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Senior Senator from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee substitute for House Bill 4067, as amended, provides that certain agency reports to the legislature and some executive branch entities are to be made electronically. Print copies of the reports are, however, to be furnished upon request. The bill also repeals references to several reports that are no longer being made. I'll entertain questions. Otherwise, I urge passage of the bill.
Question is on passage of the bill. Is there discussion? If not, the question for the Senate is, shall the bill pass? All those in favor vote yea, those opposed will vote nay. The clerk shall prepare the machine. Senior Senator from the 17th, how does the Senator from Tucker vote?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senator from Tucker votes yea.
How does the Senator from Jefferson vote?
Senator from Jefferson votes yea.
Has every member voted? Has every member voted? If so, the clerk close the machine and ascertain the results. On this question, 32 yeas, 0 nays, 2 absent, not voting. More than a majority of those voting or present and voting having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill passed. Clerk has a title amendment.
Committee on Government Organization moved to amend the title of the bill.
Question is on adoption of the title amendment. All those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the title amendment adopted. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the bill be made effective from passage and request unanimous consent that the roll call used on passage of the bill be used to make it so effective.
Senior Senator from the 17th moves that the bill be made effective from passage and request unanimous consent that the roll call used on the passage of the bill be used to make it so effective. Is there objection? Chair hears none. On this question, 32 yeas, 0 nays, 2 absent and not voting. More than 2/3 of those elected to the Senate having voted in the affirmative, I declare the bill effective from passage. The clerk will communicate the actions of the Senate to the House. Bills on second reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 7 relating to damages for medical monitoring. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 481 relating to Adopt a Stream program. Second reading of the bill.
Are there amendments to the bill?
No, sir.
The bill will be engrossed and advanced to third reading. Bills on first reading. Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request unanimous consent that all bills on first reading be considered read a first time and advanced to second reading.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. Bills will be advanced. Introduction of guest. Remarks by members. Junior Senator from the 8th.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As everyone knows in this chamber and throughout the state, February is Black Awareness Month or Black History Month. My youngest, who turns 8 on Sunday, earlier this week asked me, he said, you know, what is Black History Month? And I gave a response that I think most people give. I said, you know, we celebrate a lot of African Americans who have expanded rights in our country. I talked about Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks and leaders in both medicine and law and Katherine Johnson. And then I left it. I left it alone, and that was satisfactory for him. But then I got to start to thinking. I said, that may be an inaccurate or incomplete response. So I went back to him and I said, you know, the more accurate or complete response is because as a people, African Americans in this country have persisted and overcome. They were enslaved for 250 years on this continent, where they were sold in bondage, families broken up, born and bred for labor. The Civil War comes, slavery is eliminated, eradicated, but for the next 100 years after that, the law of the land is separate and unequal. There's no guarantee of a right to vote. Lynchings are common in parts of our country. That's only changed in the last 60 or 70 years of our history. And so, despite all those obstacles, despite everything that I just explained, as a people, they persisted and overcame. They didn't say, well, I'm going to leave this country. They didn't say, I'm going to hide under a rock. They didn't say, I'm going to accept the status quo. That's why we celebrate Black History Month. And then I got to thinking more. That persistence and overcoming, those are unique qualities to America. When you hear discussions about what makes America great, it are those characteristics and qualities. In different circumstances, and I would argue maybe not as much, obviously not as much suffering over time, our founding fathers persisted and overcame against a world power at the time. Again, going back to the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln and the Union forces overcame division. They persisted. Women suffragettes overcame and persisted. our union laborers overcame and persisted in order to get the workers' rights and protections that all of us, union or not, benefit from today. So that's always good to understand and accept. That's what makes this country great. Their story, everyone's story, but the story of African Americans in this country is our story. And we need to accept it and confront it. Our history may be messy. All histories are, sometimes of our own doing, sometimes of someone else's. But the theme is, the takeaway is, through their strength, they persisted and overcome, and that's what we celebrate in Black History Month. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further remarks. Senator from Marion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask unanimous consent that the remarks by the junior senator from the 8th be printed in the appendix of the journal.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. Senator from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I realize that many of you do not understand the reason for Black History Month. It's pretty abstract to many people. See, Black History Month is not just about the history of Black people in America. Black history expands thousands of years. And one of the best reference books on Black history is the Bible. But that's a story for another time. Black and white people in America have been in a symbiotic relationship and joined at the hip for 400 years. Black history is American history. History is not just about places, times, and events. History is about raising our consciousness and understanding of where we came from and where we are going as a nation. Black History Month is about the validation of all people in America. We can never move forward as a country if we are not cognitive as to what has brought us to this point in history. We cannot deny part of our 400 years journey through history and expect to live as one people under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Black history is a stride towards a more perfect union. That's why we celebrate Black history. Thank you.
Senator from Marion.
Same request for the senator from Ohio, Mr. President.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered. Senator from Mason.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today's Go Red for Women Day, as announced on the floor yesterday, and I see many of my colleagues and people in the Senate wearing red. Thank you so much for that. But Go Red for Women Day promotes health awareness and heart health in women. I know I didn't know, and I know many people don't know that heart disease is the #1 killer in women. It actually kills more women yearly than all cancers combined. So I'm proud to be a champion of heart health in women, and I would like to promote all women in attendance, watching and listening, to take control of your health by making sure you're monitoring your physical activity, monitor your stress levels and your sleep, and also make sure that you keep up with your healthy eating habits. Okay, thank you so much.
Further remarks. Senator from Boone.
Thank you, Mr. President. I, too, am wearing red for Women's Day. As an internal medicine doctor, and for 10 years, I had added qualifications in geriatrics. And, you know, for a long time, women are protected relatively because of the different hormones. They're protected. But once they reach a certain age, usually in their 50s, they quickly catch up with us male counterparts. We as physicians know that their cardiac symptoms are a lot different than men's frequently. They don't have crushing chest pain when you walk up a hill, but they may have dizziness or a feeling of feeling faint. And so we have to be tuned in to their symptoms more so. We kind of joke around that, women are kind of hard to figure out sometime, and women indeed are when they present with certain cardiovascular symptoms. This body has helped with preventing heart disease by expanding Medicaid to our poorer people so that the expanded Medicaid population can have health care. We've passed out-of-pocket caps on insulin and things like that. which helps them to be able to be more compliant with their medication. We know that a high cholesterol level, high blood pressure, and tobacco use are the three major risk factors, as well as genetics. Diabetes factors in. So there are bills here in this body that we can help. We also know that the outcomes of health care really only has to do with about 20% of the healthcare system. 20%. If there were no doctors, pharmacists, medications, hospitals, health outcomes would only be impacted 20%. So what makes those health outcomes? A lot of it is economy. So if you can afford your medicine, if you can get an education, if you have a job, those are all things that help lower your risk of heart disease and health in general. Many of our older women in West Virginia, our retired school teachers, haven't had any type of cost of living adjustment, maybe ever. And so now they are getting to the point where they're crunched from an economic standpoint. So I want this body, if we're going to talk about Go Red for Women, to think about how we can really help the women in West Virginia live longer and healthier lives. And some of that has to do with things we can do right here in this body. I would remind folks that tobacco use is heavy among women. They're getting started in middle school frequently on vape. And we need to do something about that, and we can. Tobacco use in general is a $1 billion cost to West Virginians every year. Obesity is the #2 killer, and it has huge health care costs as well. So when we look at these bills and when we see these bills that are introduced, we ought to think about women and how we can help them live longer, healthier lives. Thank you.
Further remarks? Junior Senator from the 8th.
Yes, Mr. President, I just ask unanimous consent that the comments made by the senators from Mason and Boone be printed in the appendix of the journal.
Is there objection? Chair hears none. So ordered. Further remarks? Miscellaneous business, Senior Senator from the 17th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Subject to announcements, I move the Senate stand adjourned until Monday at 11 a.m.
Are there announcements? Senior Senator from the 4th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Finance will meet today at 3 p.m. in room 451M. We have budget hearings from Western University and Marshall University and a continuation of a bill we worked on this morning. Thank you.
Senator from Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on the Judiciary will meet also today at 3 o'clock p.m. in the Judiciary Committee Room 208 in the West Wing.
Senior Senator from the 6th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Government Organization will be meeting today in room 208 West at 2 p.m. The agenda has been posted.
Senator from Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. President. Health Committee at 1 o'clock, 451M.
Senator from Logan.
Committee on Energy, Industry, Mining will meet at 1 o'clock. The agenda is posted, room 208.
Senator from Raleigh.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Education will meet at 2 p.m. in room 451M. The agenda has been posted.
Senator from Upshur.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Natural Resources Committee will meet Monday at 1 p.m. in 208 West.
Senator from Harrison.
President, there will be a Labor Caucus meeting immediately following the floor session in 330 West, and lunch will be served.
Are there further announcements? If not, the question for the Senate stand adjourned till Monday, 11 a.m. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I declare the Senate adjourned till Monday, 11 a.m.
House will please be in order. Those persons not having privilege of the floor will please vacate the chamber. Members and guests in the galleries will please rise today as we are led in prayer by Pastor Bart Thompson, guest of the Preston and Montague County delegations.
Let us pray.
Holy Lord, you have blessed our land with amazing mountains, beautiful rolling hills, unique places like Dolly Sods, and wonderful waters from the Ohio River to the Potomac. Your blessings, O Lord, are more than the natural bounty. They include the people of the state of West Virginia. We pray for people who struggle with the ongoing pandemic, poverty, addiction, child care, health care, foster care, and finding meaningful full-time work. These issues are in front of the members of the House of Delegates who have been elected from among the West Virginia people to work for the greater good of state and community. Bless the members of this House. Open their hearts to a spirit of cooperation and love that chooses to solve these and other issues and bring the people of our state together. Amen.
Amen. Members and guests will please remain standing as we are led in the Pledge of Allegiance by the Lady of the 52nd, Dr. Saipo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will everyone join me as we recite the 31 words that affirm the values and the freedom that the flag, the American flag, represents. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members and guests may be seated. Reading the Journal.
Journal of the House of Delegates, Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022.
Gentleman 53rd, Delegate Jennings.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that be approved as have been read.
The gentleman 53rd asks unanimous consent that the further reading of the journal be dispensed with and that it be approved as having been read. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Introductions. Lady in the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the North Gallery, a constituent of mine, Cindy Woodyard, representing West Virginia Caring, is here today. If she would stand and the House make her welcome. Also today, our Doctor of the Day is Ben Silverberg from Morgantown. Please welcome him.
June the 13th, Douglas Pinson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today we're joined by one of our pages who is a brilliant young man. He's a talented young man. He loves the Lord. And today is his 16th birthday. If my nephew, Isaac Nossman, would please stand. His mother's in the balcony, Kristen Nossman, who raised me at 14 years old, took on the responsibility of raising me when our parents left. If the House would please make these individuals feel welcome, please.
Gentleman 51st, Douglas Statler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my honor today on behalf of all the delegates that serves in the Montague County area to introduce the delegation from the Morgantown Area Partnership led by Russ Rogerson, the president. We have former County Commissioner Eldon Callan with us, and also Commissioner Sean Sikora is with us today. So would any of the galleries that anybody's down from Montague County, please rise and will body make them welcome.
Lady from the 24th, I got Mazaki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am happy to say that I have a friend, Beth, and her husband, Craig Bowden, here in the North Gallery. Please make him welcome.
Gentleman 44th, Douglas Hannah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today with us in the North Gallery is Shelby Hill. Since it's Go Red for Women Day, she's a survivor of open heart surgery due to a congenital heart defect. And she's also here with us this session as an intern for the great delegate here from the 16th, Delegate Daniel Linville. If she would please stand and the House would make her feel welcome.
Lady to 52nd, Dr. Saipo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Delegate Jennings and I do not have to let you know that it is Preston County Day. I believe the smell of buckwheat cakes lends tell you that it is Preston County Day. Most of the Preston County individuals that's joined us today, I believe, is down on the Senate side, but just in case there was anyone here that made it over to the House side at this time, I wanted to recognize them. But if not, anybody that enjoyed the buckwheat cakes, sausage, eggs, gravy, biscuits, or coffee or juice, would you please give them a hand whether they've made it to this side or not? Thank you very much.
Gentleman to 39th, Delegate Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Joining us today and representing my district from Sissonville Middle School Red Hawks, Miss Danielle Frame is here joining us today, and her mother is with us. I'm not sure which gallery she's in. Michelle Gerald is with us this morning. Also, from my district, and one of my fellow church members, assistant pastor at Aldersgate United Methodist Church in Sissonville, Mr. Paul Breedlove, and he's over in the South Gallery. He represents business manager at UA 625. He's joined by Fred Chandler, business manager at Charleston Building and Trades, and Craig Musteller, business agent UA at 625. If you guys would gladly give them an ovation, we are glad to have them with us today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman to 7th, Delegate Barnhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Paging with us today, we have Savannah Bird from Pleasants County Middle School, and she is joined today by her mother, Melissa Adams, up in the gallery, and I would just ask that they stand and ask that the House stand and make them feel welcome.
Gentleman 22nd, Delegate Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to introduce a former member of this body, Mr. Larry Faircloth. If y'all make him welcome.
Gentleman to 16th, Delegate Mant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm honored today to introduce 3 pages on behalf of Delegate Worrell and the rest of our delegates from Cabell County. They are from the village of Barbersville. First, I would like to introduce Abigail Raynor. And in the West Gallery, she's accompanied by her mother, Heather Raynor. Next, Addison Polly. She is accompanied by her father, Josh Polly, if Addison would stand, please. And next, we have Paxton Haffertiepen, and he is accompanied by his father, Mark Haffertiepen. Would the delegates please rise and give them a warm welcome? Thank you.
Are there further introductions? Ladyman 38th, Delegate Graves.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Oh, yay, they just got here. Julie Warden is here along with pharmacy students from the University of Charleston. They're supporting Go Red Day for the American Heart Association. Could the chamber please give them a big warm welcome?
Are there further introductions? If not, standing committee reports.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 4355 relating to the disclosure by state institutions of higher education of certain information regarding textbooks and digital courseware and certain charges assessed for those items, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass.
The report will be received.
Your Committee on Small Business, Entrepreneurship, and Economic Development has had under consideration House Bill 4418 relating to the Small Business Supplier Certification Assistance Program, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
The report will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 4467, requiring early childhood classroom assistant teacher in certain grade levels and enrollment levels in said grade levels, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Finance.
That report will be received. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 4105, relating to service employees with National Association for Pupil Transportation Certifications, and reports back a committee substitute therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass.
That report will be received.
Your Committee on Education has had under consideration House Bill 4380, relating to transportation of athletic teams, and House Bill 4389, relating to repealing school innovation zones provisions superseded by Innovation in Education Act, and reports by committee substitutes therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitutes each do pass.
That report will be received.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration Senate Bill 436, correcting code citation for authority of State Fire Marshal, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass.
That report will be received.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 4370, clarifying the statewide interoperability executive committee is responsible to develop, update, and implement policies regarding the statewide interoperable radio network, and reports the same back with amendment, with the recommendation that it do pass as amended, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Finance.
That report will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance.
Your Committee on Government Organization has had under consideration House Bill 3036, sunsetting the Board of Sanitarians, and reports back a committee substitute therefore, with the recommendation that the committee substitute do pass.
That report will be received.
Your Committee on Fire Departments and Emergency Medical Services has had under consideration House Bill 4087, allowing variance in state fire code for certain buildings used solely for emergency equipment storage, and reports the same back with amendment, with recommendation that it do pass as amended, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
That report will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Your Committee on Prevention and Treatment of Substance Abuse has had under consideration House Bill 2083, relating to age verification requirements for delivery sales of tobacco, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Resources.
The report will be received and that bill will be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Resources.
Originating in the Committee on the Judiciary and reported with the recommendation that it do pass, is House Bill 4522, relating to the expungement of criminal records.
That report will be received.
Originating in the Committee on the Judiciary with the recommendation Your Committee on Workforce Development has had under consideration House Bill 4242, authorizing the Division of Labor to promulgate a legislative rule relating to child labor, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
That report will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Your Committee on Workforce Development has had under consideration House Bill 4366, relating to the modernization of West Virginia wage and payment laws, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, but that it first be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
That report will be received and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Your Committee on Prevention and Treatment of Substance Abuse has had under consideration House Bill 3080 relating to making the Bureau of Behavioral Health the certifying agency for recovery residences, and reports the same back with amendment with the recommendation that it do pass as amended, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Resources.
That report will be received under House Rule 80. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Health and Human Resources.
Your Committee on Banking and Insurance has had under consideration House Bill 4153, authorizing the Insurance Commission to promulgate a legislative rule relating to continuing education for individual insurance producers and individual insurance adjusters. House Bill 4154, authorizing the Insurance Commission to promulgate a legislative rule relating to adoption of valuation manual. House Bill 4155, authorizing the Insurance Commission to promulgate a legislative rule relating to pharmacy auditing entities and pharmacy benefit managers. House Bill 4156, authorizing the Insurance Commission to promulgate a legislative rule relating to term and universal life insurance reserve financing. And House Bill 4157, authorizing the Insurance Commission to promulgate a legislative rule relating to bail bondsmen in criminal cases, and reports the same back with the recommendation that they each do pass, but that they first be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
That report will be received. Those bills will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Your Committee on Political Subdivisions has had under consideration House Bill 4353 relating to on-cycle elections Voter Turnout Act, and reports the same back with the recommendation that it do pass, but that it first be referred to the Committee on the Judiciary.
The report will be received, and that bill will be referred to the Committee on Judiciary.
Your Joint Committee on Enrolled Bills has examined, found truly enrolled, and on the second day of February 2022 presented to His Excellency the Governor for his action the following bill signed by the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Delegates, Senate Bill 4, repealing ban on construction of nuclear power plants.
That report will be received. Further standing committee reports, select committee reports.
Your Select Committee on Coalfield Communities has had under consideration House Bill 4479, establishing the Coalfield Communities Grant Facilitation Commission, and reports the same back with amendment with the recommendation that it do pass as amended, but that it first be referred to the Committee on Finance.
That report will be received, and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Finance. Executive messages.
A communication from His Excellency the Governor advises that on February 2nd, 2022, he approved Senate Bill 8 and Senate Bill 191.
Senate messages.
The Clerk of the Senate announces that the Senate has passed the following bills. Committee substitute for Senate Bill 138 relating to Board of Medicine composition.
That message will be received, and the bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 262 relating generally to financial institutions engaged in boycotts of energy companies.
That message will be received. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Banking and Insurance and the Committee on Finance.
Senate Bill 492 relating to electronic collection of tolls.
Message will be received. The bill will be referred to the Committee on Government Organization. Further Senate messages, resolutions.
House Concurrent Resolution 44, proclaiming and making the fiddle the official musical instrument of the state of West Virginia.
Laid in the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of resolutions introduced be dispensed with, and that each resolution be considered as formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the delegate console system.
Laid in the 49th. Ask unanimous consent that the further reading of resolutions introduced be dispensed with, and that each resolution be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the delegate console system. Are there objections? There are no objections. Petitions, motions, bills introduced.
House Bill 4007 to reduce personal income tax rates.
Laid in 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent that the further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with, and that each bill be referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the delegate console system.
Laid in the 49th. Ask unanimous consent that the further reading of bills introduced be dispensed with, and that each bill be considered as having been formally introduced and referred to the appropriate committees as indicated on the delegate console system. Are there objections? No objections are heard. Unfinished business. Bills on third reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4311, creating criminal penalties for illegal voting activity.
Are there objections to having this bill explained in lieu of having it read? No objections are heard. Number 32nd, Douglas Fast, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 4311 creates criminal penalties for illegal voting. The bill amends West Virginia Code to provide that voting more than once in any election, whether held in West Virginia or between West Virginia and another state, is a felony offense. It makes it a felony offense to vote when not legally entitled to do so, and it makes it a felony offense to reject valid votes, alter ballots, or deceive voters. The bill requires the criminal acts to have been done knowingly and willfully. That is a summary, Mr. Speaker. I urge passage.
The question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Is there debate on the bill? Gentleman 37, Dr. Pushkin is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Okay. Is it currently illegal to vote twice in the same election?
Yes.
It is. It's illegal already.
Right now it's a misdemeanor. Right now it's a misdemeanor.
I can't hear you, sir.
Right now it's a misdemeanor.
Okay, right now it's a misdemeanor. Well, it is illegal, and have there been any instances of anybody being charged with this?
We've heard testimony of that fact, but...
Where?
It was in the Judiciary Committee.
All right, well, I serve on the committee with you, and I didn't hear that. But thanks for yielding. Sure. May I speak to the bill?
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you. I have the honor of serving on the committee with the vice chair and the chair and all the other members of the Judiciary Committee, and actually did not hear that. There have not been instances of people being charged with, caught, or convicted of voting twice in the same election. I mean, we hear about it, but it hasn't happened. So I'm not sure how much effect this will have, but we're making a stricter penalty on something we haven't really had any instances of happening. But that's fine. If the intent is to restore people's faith in their elections, I'm for that. I can support that. I can support restoring the people's faith in the electoral process. But I would go as far as saying if we really want to restore faith in our elections, maybe the chief election officer of the state should probably refrain from standing on the steps of the Capitol with a "Stop the Steal" sign.
Lady 35th, Delegate Young is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Vice Chairman yield?
Yes.
Thank you. I've got the question about attempting to vote when not legally entitled. It looks like the attempt to vote, was that illegal previously?
A misdemeanor.
Okay, so it was a misdemeanor beforehand. So now we're just making it a felony if you attempt to vote. So when you're not legally entitled. So that means, what, somebody that's not a citizen, somebody that's on parole or probation?
It could be all the above. It's a legal term.
Okay, so if somebody on parole or probation goes to vote, and maybe they don't know that they're not eligible to vote, would they get a felony?
Mm-hmm. Well, that would not apply if that truly is the fact that they did not know. Mm-hmm. This would not apply, because this only applies if someone knowingly and willingly makes these illegal actions.
So if somebody gets out on parole, they don't know what our voter laws are, and they just go to vote, they're not going to be charged with a felony?
If they didn't know it and they didn't do it knowingly and willingly, then no.
Okay, and then the procuring or assisting in procuring the votes to be admitted and received or rejected, that's going to be the clerk, right? So if the clerk accepts, willing and knowingly accepts a vote that is illegal, are they committing a felony?
If they do it knowingly and willingly, and they're knowingly and willingly committing a crime, then yes.
Isn't it up to their determination to affirm whether someone can vote? Like someone on parole or probation?
Can you rephrase your question? I'm not understanding the question.
I mean, you can register to vote at your county clerk, correct? And get the ballot from the county clerk, and you go to vote with them.
Yes.
If you're on parole or probation, it's up to the county clerk to affirm that you are eligible to vote. It's kind of like getting an absentee ballot, right?
That's correct, yes.
So, but the onus is on the county clerk to make that determination.
Yes.
Do the county clerks check to see if people are on probation or parole? Because it's my understanding that they don't.
I don't know if they do or not, but there again, if it's not done knowingly and willingly on either the person registering or the clerk, then there would not be a violation. I mean, if we're talking about an honest mistake, then that would not come under this. This is intended to capture those who knowingly and willingly violate the law, voting twice, registering twice,
Sure.
voting in an election in 2 different states for the same issue.
Yeah. I gotcha. Did the Clerks Association speak or the Secretary of State speak about this bill?
I believe the Secretary of State did, and the representative, and I don't recall if the Clerks Association did. I don't recall if the Clerks Association did.
Secretary of State's okay with it?
The office is, yes.
Okay. Okay. Can I speak to the bill quickly?
But he's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just worried that we're going to imprison our county clerks. I don't think people should be voting in 2 elections. It's already illegal. So yeah, I just don't want to have to lock up all our county clerks. Thank you.
Gentleman to 16th, Delegate Lim was recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of the bill today. Election integrity is very important. And as someone who represents Lincoln County, West Virginia, I would like to bring up a news article from January 30th, 2012, almost exactly 10 years ago to the day. Almost exactly. Lincoln County Sheriff Jerry Bowman and Clerk Donald Whitten will plead guilty to charges that they attempted to flood the 2010 Democratic primary with fraudulent absentee ballots. Judge had to throw out 300 ballots in the Democratic primary in Lincoln County, West Virginia. I don't want to hear anymore that this doesn't happen, it's never happened, it's out in the ether, and you're solving a problem that doesn't exist. Right there it is. Google it, support the bill, and bring back fairness to our elections. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman 36, Delegate Barrick.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Would the delegate yield again for a question? I'm just curious about the last election in Virginia where the Republican Glenn Youngkin was elected governor. His teenage son was 17 and made 2 attempts to vote on election day, and he was basically given a registration form and encouraged to participate in future elections. Under this law, would he have been prosecuted and charged with a felony?
It would depend upon his intent. I don't think so, unless it was done knowingly and willingly to commit a crime. So obviously that calls for speculation, and we could speculate all day one way or another.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I mean, I certainly want our election to be fair, and like this last election was amazingly clean, and I'd like to keep it that way, but I just wonder, what the actual, intent of this bill is to really do. But thank you very much.
Gentleman to 62nd, Delegate Hurst.
Would the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Voting in multiple states, is there any kind of a mechanism where we can catch that? And the reason I ask is because I had a number of constituents come to me just prior to and after the last election, pointing out that they had ballots sent to them from previous states that they lived in. And in fact, one of them, California, they had received ballots before from California as a resident of West Virginia, and had notified the authorities in California about it so that they would not receive ballots any longer, and they still received ballots in the last election.
Well, it's not illegal to receive a ballot from another state. It would be illegal under this statute to cast a ballot. For instance, if you're voting for the President of the United States and you cast a ballot through that mechanism in California and then walked downtown and cast a ballot in the state of West Virginia, that would be illegal under this statute.
Okay, and that's kind of what I thought. I guess my concern is really how do we catch that, and really how often would that even be going on? But thank you, and sure. I do support the bill.
Gentleman to 66, Delegate Espinosa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the Vice Chairman continue to yield?
Yes.
Just want to share a scenario. An individual's registered to vote in another state, also registered here in West Virginia because they have not been, the roles have not been adjusted yet. That person knowingly votes in a West Virginia election while living in another state and registered there. That would be subject to enhanced penalties under this legislation?
No, not unless they voted in both states.
So that would be the key. They'd have to vote in both states.
Right. If they're registered in 2 states, well, when you register in a second state, then that, by operation of law, would nullify the registration in the prior state. But if it's not taken off the books, just because it's not taken off the books does not make it illegal now to vote in the state of West Virginia. But if then they cast a ballot in the other state and this state on the same issue, for instance, voting for President of the United States, then yes, that could trigger this code section.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is there further debate on the bill? Ladyman 35th, Delegate Young.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry, it's me again. I have a question related to, will you yield one more time? Yes, please. Sorry, pointing isn't helpful. I realize that now. Delegate from the 62nd brought up a really good point. Elections are administered by states. How would we catch somebody voting in 2 separate states?
There are all kinds of mechanisms and investigations, reports to the chief election officer, to county election officers. Investigations could be triggered. This bill does not necessarily provide the mechanism to investigate and find out perpetrators. What this bill does is, if someone commits this act, then this bill takes care of it and provides penalties. That's what this bill does.
Gotcha. Is there a statute of limitations?
For a felony, no.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Is there further debate on the bill? Does the gentleman with the 32nd wish to close debate on the bill? If not, the question before the House is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of passage will please vote aye. Those opposed will please vote no. The clerk will prepare the machine. Has every member voted? If so, the clerk will close the machine and ascertain the result on that question. There were 94 ayes, 0 nays, and 6 members absent. Majority of members voting in the affirmative. The chair declares that bill passed. The clerk will please report the title.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4311, creating criminal penalties for illegal voting activity.
Are there amendments to the title? If not, the title as read by the clerk will be entertained the title of the bill. The clerk will please communicate the action of the House to the Senate. Are there further bills on 3rd reading? If not, bills on 2nd reading.
Senate Bill 435, awarding service weapon to retiree from Division of Protective Services.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 437, providing for early discharge of parolees.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for Senate Bill 449, relating to nonviolent offense parole program.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4003, relating generally to commercial benefit of substances removed from waters of the state by the treatment of mine drainage.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4111, relating to the prescriptive authority of advanced practice registered nurses.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced.
House Bill 4296, to revise outdated provisions within Chapter 23 of the West Virginia Code, which pertains to workers' compensation.
Are there amendments? If not, the bill will be advanced. Are there further bills on 2nd reading? If not, bills on 1st reading.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4084, relating to advanced recycling.
The bill will be advanced.
Committee substitute for House Bill 4369, update the telepsychology compact.
The bill will be advanced. Lady from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to have the bill referred to Finance.
To the benefit of the members, House Bill 4422 was reported as an originating bill from the Committee on Jails, Prisons, and Corrections. It would be the chair's intention, pursuant to the lady from the 49th request, that the bill be referred to the Committee on Finance for additional consideration. Are there objections? No objections are heard. House Bill 4424 will be referred to the Committee on Finance. Are there further bills on first reading? If not, leaves of absence. Lady from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For our colleagues, Delegates DeCirio, Fleshauer, D. Jeffries, Maynard, Williams, and Worrell.
Are there objections to leaves of absence being granted? No objections are heard. Leave shall be granted. Introductions. Gentleman 16th, Becca Linville.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a bit of a unique introduction, but those of you may notice that Vice Chairman of the Committee on Technology and Infrastructure, the gentleman from the 22nd, Delegate Maynard, is not here today. He's not here today because I'd like to introduce the West Virginia House to Tegan Maynard. Their second daughter, for he and his wife, was born on 2/2/22. If the House would please make them feel welcome.
The further introductions. Miscellaneous business. Lady in the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're going to trust our weatherman, Delegate Barrick, and we're going to move, subject to announcements, that the House adjourn until 11 a.m. Monday, February 7th.
The question is on the motion that, subject to announcements, the House stand adjourns at 11 a.m. Monday. Are there announcements? Are there announcements? Gentleman number 6, Delegate Kelly.
The Committee on Jails and Prisons went to Western Regional Jail, and next Wednesday we are planning to do the same thing but go to Mount Olive. So we're opening this up. I know there's already been some people who have expressed a desire to go with us. Think about it over the weekend. If you're interested in going, we will be leaving around 5 o'clock on Wednesday evening, traveling down to Mount Olive and then coming back. So please think about it this weekend. If you want to do it, let me know. I'll make another announcement Monday and we'll solidify it then. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman 35th, Delegate Capito.
Inquiry of the chair as to the availability of the chamber on Monday, February 6th at 9 a.m. February 7th. February 7th at 9.
Monday morning, this coming Monday morning?
Yes, sir.
The chamber is available.
On Monday morning at 9 a.m., February 7th, the House Judiciary Committee will hold a public hearing for H.C.R. 3.1, applying to the Congress of the United States to call a convention of the states. That will take place again in this chamber on Monday, February 7th from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Registration to speak during the public hearing will open at 8:30 in this chamber on Monday morning, and we will look forward to seeing those that choose to participate there. By way of other announcement, the Committee on the Judiciary will continue the posted agenda in the committee room immediately following the House Energy Committee meeting this afternoon. Members of the majority party will caucus in the chairman's office at 2 p.m. today. Thank you.
Chairman 51st, Douglas Statler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Education will meet today at 3:30 in the Education Committee room. The agenda is posted. The Republican members of the committee will caucus in the chair's office at 3. The committee will meet again Monday, February the 7th at 3 p.m. in the Education Committee room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman the 15th, Douglas Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Government Organization will meet Monday at 3 p.m. in the Government Organization Room, and the agenda will be posted. And also, by way of announcement, I also downloaded the weather app on my phone, so I hope I don't have to listen to the weather report again here. It's not necessary.
Gentleman 17th, Delegate Rohrbach.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Health and Human Resources will meet today at 1 p.m. in the East Wing Committee Room, and the agenda is posted. Republican members will caucus in the Vice Chairman's office at 12:30. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman 31st, Delegate Tony.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Veterans Affairs and Homeland Security will meet Monday, February the 7th at 1 p.m. in the Judiciary Conference Room. The agenda will be posted.
Gentleman 27th, Delegate Gearhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Pensions and Retirement will meet Monday at 1 p.m. in the House Finance Committee room. Agenda will be posted.
June the 10th, thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning. Your Committee on Energy and Manufacturing will meet today in the Judiciary Committee room at 1 p.m. The agenda is posted. Republican members will caucus in the chairman's office at 12:30.
Leading 52nd, Dr. Saipo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to remind everybody there is an envelope laying on your desk. Be sure that you open it up because there is a ticket in for a box lunch, just in case you did not find that on your desk. Be sure to check that out. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
June the 11th, thank you, Keaton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Freshman caucus that we sent an email about the other day, tonight not happening. We want everybody to get out of town because of the cancellation tomorrow. So thank you.
Gentleman from the 3rd, Dr. Fluharty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Democrats will caucus immediately following session in Gov.org brief caucus. Thank you.
Gentleman 36, Dr. Barrick.
All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you to the Majority Leader for putting all the heat on me. I appreciate that. Kudos to the Speaker and Majority Leader and whomever else was on this decision to take off tomorrow, because this could be a very serious situation headed our way. I just want to give you one quick update. Again, forecasting ice is very difficult because it usually hits a very, very narrow area, and that looks like that demarcation line is going to be right along the Ohio River. So sometime after midnight is when I'm thinking that we're going to start to see that push south, and so by early in the morning things could be really slick around here, and we're also going to see widespread power outages. If we get a tenth to a quarter of an inch, could be very similar to the ice storm in Huntington of last year. The area I'm most worried about, all the delegates in districts 1 through 5, it looks like the northern panhandle is ground zero for this. So the earlier you can get home, the better. I think things might turn by late afternoon. Tomorrow, just a good day to stay off the roads. It's going to be very cold all day. Any ice that's in place is not going to melt. Saturday, a different story. We should see some melting. Plus, if we can get salt on the roads, etc., we should have the roads in decent shape. Sunday should be a nice sunny day and warm, so that should be able to melt off a lot of the ice. So again, Friday, tomorrow, just a good day to stay inside, and hopefully everyone will get home safely. I want to see you all back here safe and sound on Monday, so please drive carefully, even if you're down to the south and you're dealing with mostly rain. And as for the delegate of the 15th, weather apps are great on the phone, but you know, they can be suspect, but it's a good thing if you also have an app for a tow truck company come and pull you out when you slide off the road. So I'm definitely your best source, and I'll try to keep you updated, and hopefully this is my last weather forecast of the season. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Are there further announcements? If not, the question is on the motion that the House stand adjourned at 11 a.m. Monday. Those in favor will please say aye. Those opposed will please say no. The motion is adjourned, or the motion is adopted. This House is adjourned at 11 a.m. Monday.